and welcome to The Bench. This week, in dedication of our Saudi Arabian audience, we are coming to you live from King Fahd Stadium in Riyadh. On this week's episode of The Bench, we're going to be talking about the January transfer window. What are the best and what are the worst signings? We're also going to be talking about Mourinho. There's been whispers of his return to England, but where should he go? Just where is the best fit for the special one? Also the chopping block, Mick McCarthy and his giant schnoz faces the axe this week. Also, we're going to be talking about Sophie's choice, O'Neill or Moyes, and finally, a brand new segment, as we like to keep throwing new segments at you, Donkey of the Week. Joining me this week on The Bench, as they do every week, we have the ever-present and ever-cynical Jonathan Grunstein.
Sheik Rosenberg, good to be with you.
And in his Bergen best, Nicholas Lasker.
Hi everyone, fluent Norwegian.
Alright, enough awkwardness. Let's get straight into it. The transfer window. Nico, who's done the best?
In short, Sunderland. Wayne Bridge, love him.
Wow.
Lost a yard of pace because his pocket's full of money. But my oh my, the man can play left back. He's played for England, he's only 32. I think he's got a few good years left in him, and the clowns that were playing at left back, you know, Wayne Bridge is a clear upgrade, and there was a lot of trash done this window, and he's the best of it.
The best of the trash.
The best of the trash.
I've got to say, I don't know, he's spent the majority of the last 2 years on the bench. Like, he doesn't play any football.
And not this one, that would be respectable.
So what do you reckon, good Steve?
I really like QPR signing of big bad busting Bobby Zamora. I thought he was excellent 2 years ago. He was one of the informed strikers in the Premier League, got an England call-up, deservedly so. And then succumbed to a broken leg. And typically it takes a player a year and a half to 2 years to recover their best form after such an injury.
Yeah.
I think he was showing signs when Martin Jol actually played him this year that he was approaching somewhere near his best.
I agree. He holds the ball up well.
Yeah, really well. And a side like QPR, who's blue collar, could do well with him. And up front with Heide Hawks, I think they're going to make a really good attacking threat.
Okay, we've done the best. What's the worst, Nico?
The worst transfer. There's been, as I mentioned
Wayne Bridge being one of them.
At the top of the pile of crap lies Arsenal's business this window. The young man, Thomas Eisfeld, I had to look at my notes because I don't know who that is. But if you could name one thing that Arsenal don't need, it's a young but unproven yet talented attacking midfielder.
Or a 35-year-old overweight former French great striker, Thierry Henry.
With a depression beard.
Double chin beard as well.
Double chin depression beard.
I can tend to agree with that, and Grunstein?
Look, it breaks my heart, but my championship manager side of yesteryear, Doncaster Rovers, have signed Fabien Robert. You may be unfamiliar with the work of young Fabien, but he is Laurent Robert's younger brother.
Oh, really?
And if genetics is anything to go by, he will be taking shots from 30 yards out. On site. He will not pass the ball for about 5 games in a row.
Who's he shooting?
Sorry?
Who's he shooting? He's lining up his shot.
And he won't lay one tackle. And my scouts at Doncaster tell me that's not what they need right now.
And anyone in the Premier League?
No.
Alright, everybody loves him. The media certainly loves him. He is the special one, and there's been whispers about him rejoining the ranks in England. Where would you say his best fit is?
I think when we talk about where Mourinho's best fit is, you've also got to consider where he's most needed. And I think he's needed at any top club. Manchester City could need him if they don't win the title, but I think they will, so we'll take them out of the equation. Man United would need him if Fergie left, but I don't think he's leaving anytime soon, so we'll take them out of the equation. Then you look at the next big 4 clubs, which are Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea and Tottenham. Arsenal, yeah, sure, they probably need him, but the pieces don't fit. They don't spend a lot of money, which Mourinho wants. Chelsea, yeah, and Chelsea, they can't take him back. They wouldn't take him back, even though maybe they should. Tottenham are going great guns, so they probably don't need him. And then that leads us to Liverpool. And let me tell you something about Liverpool. Kim Kenny stinks. I said it, he's a club legend, but he has wasted so much money, and Liverpool have a lot of money, and Mourinho would spend it wisely, and I think he would be a great fit there for a club with a lot of tradition and just crying out for some success.
Yeah, he wouldn't have bought Andy Carroll for £35 million.
No.
One wouldn't think.
No, but he would have treated him properly as well.
Yeah, sure, he's a great man manager, so where do you reckon he should go, Nico?
You took them out of the equation, but I tend to think that City is a great fit for Mourinho, and yeah, I agree that the proviso is that they don't win the title, but I think that if he went there and you sacked Mancini anyway, and paid him the oil millions, I think that he'd take that club forward to being a really, they could win the treble. I mean, look what he did with Inter. Mancini was there before. They had he was there before he laid the platform, and then Mourinho came along, swooped in with the same squad. It's sort of that tough squad that's been together for a while and really galvanised them and took them to Champions League glory. They won the treble, you know. So I think that if he was to go to City, I think that would be his best fit. I think they tick all the boxes. And, you know, whether or not he does go there is another matter. I think he might also be England manager, although I don't think anyone wants that job.
Well, the other reason why he's such a good fit at City is because he's got a great track record with managing these teams with really expensive stars with huge egos.
Absolutely.
Because he's the biggest these teams particularly.
Yeah, because he's the biggest ego in the room.
Yeah, of course.
Him and Sir Alex.
There you go.
Yeah. He's a great manager, and someone who's in a bit of trouble is Mick McCarthy. Not such a great manager at the moment. This week, he's on the chopping block.
On the chopping block.
That is some high quality animation. He's gone 9 games without a victory. Mick McCarthy is in a bit of strife. So Nico, should he go?
I'm going to throw some numbers at you.
Oh, you've done your research.
I've done my research.
Brought his A game.
I brought my A game. Last year when Wolves stayed up, it was the first time he in 4 tries that he's kept a club up. 3 out of 4 times he's been relegated, right? His winning percentage in the Premier League is 16%.
Wow.
So if he holds true to form, and I'm just going to say he bats average for the rest of the season, and wins 16% of the remaining games,
Optimistic.
that equals Wolves getting relegated.
Yeah.
They're going to get 20 points because 16% of the remaining games is 2.4 wins.
Good maths.
Well done.
Quality maths. Chop him now.
Wow.
Grunstein, do you think the same thing?
Yeah, chop him. And start chopping now, because it's going to take a while to chop that nose down like as well.
Such a big...
They are terrible. They play really lifeless football. Their fans hate them. They're just...
They booed them.
They booed them.
At the end of the loss to Liverpool.
They booed them several times. And I think Mick McCarthy's been saved a lot by Wayne Hennessy in goals, who I think is a really underrated keeper.
Excellent keeper.
Yeah, and saves them from leaking goal after goal every week. So I reckon he's got to go.
Can I just put it bluntly? His nose is outrageous.
Outrageous.
I tried to do some
It's offensive.
Pythagorean analysis of the nose when I was doing my stats earlier. Impossible. It's off the charts.
So if you had
the hypotenuse is extremely low.
If you had a Sophie's choice, Mick McCarthy or his nose, who would you take?
I'd take his nose.
His nose is a better manager, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
If you leave it to its own devices, it could lead a club to that relegation.
Yeah, because he should just follow his nose.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Strong.
Speaking of Sophie's choice, we're talking to managers this week. It's time for Sophie's choice.
Sophie's choice.
Sophie's choice. 2 options, 2 categories this week. We're talking 2 managers. David Moyes or Martin O'Neill. Who would you rather have as captain of your ship, Grunstein?
Probing question. Both are excellent managers. I would tend to say O'Neill, just because he has managed a lot of clubs, and that's nothing against Moyes, because I think his loyalty is one of his great virtues. But if you're looking at their coaching capabilities, I think what's really appealing about Martin O'Neill is the success he's had at every club he's been to. In Wickham, he earned promotion twice in a row. Leicester, he won 2 League Cups with and got them in the UEFA Cup. Dominated at Celtic, did really well in Europe with them.
Sure.
Got Aston Villa to the brink of Champions League football.
It doesn't take him long either.
No,
it's like
exactly.
he arrives.
Look at Sunderland right now. So, I mean, I think his body of work is more impressive, but that's nothing against Moyes, because he's only been at one club the whole time and got Everton into a top 4 position before.
I agree with everything you just said.
Of course you do.
I love O'Neill and his energy and the vibrancy he brings on the side of the pitch. But there's a reason why he's moved from club to club so much. I just can't. As a Chelsea fan, I really appreciate, you know, managerial continuity.
Sure.
And David Moyes must have had one of the toughest jobs.
Yeah.
Like, he's got no money.
Shoestring budget.
Yeah. He, you know, what he does is he sells Pienaar to Tottenham for a little bit of money, and then when he flops, he buys him back for like nothing. You know, loans him back.
I actually saw him busking out the front of
Absolutely. Absolutely.
just to make a little extra change.
Absolutely. And, you know, I just think what he's done there is amazing. This is where his squad, it's at the moment in a lull. If you look like 3 years ago, they were doing really well. They were top, you know, pushing top 6, and on that budget.
Made top 4.
Yeah, they made the top 4 a couple of times, and once, and that's impressive. You know, with that budget, I'd take Moyes. I just think that he's so well respected.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's fair. I don't think there's a right answer.
No.
I just love how excited Martin O'Neill gets every time his team scored. You gotta love that enthusiasm.
Yeah, you love him managing your team.
Absolutely. He was very good at Aston Villa. I had a lot of respect for that tenure.
We've got a new segment this week. We're throwing a few new ones out there. This one's called Donkey of the Week.
Donkey, 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 donkey of the week.
Donkey of the Week. We find one person in football who is just acting like an absolute clown, and then we ridicule them for a little while. This week we're talking about Harry Redknapp. He's made a few dodgy deals in the tax department. Nico, what do you think about it?
Massive donkey. How's that for some insight? He's taken the stand in his tax evasion trial, and he's basically announced to the public that he can't write. He writes like a 2-year-old. He hasn't written in years. I mean, he's the manager of Tottenham Football Club, getting paid £40,000 a week, earning millions of quid, as he likes to say, and he hasn't written a written word. Shocking. Donkey.
He also said he has never used a computer or sent a text message before in his life.
Really?
So for someone who's renowned as one of the great man managers and
Absolutely.
communicationists in the game, I think that's pretty
Maybe
surprising.
that's why he just prefers the personal touch.
Yeah.
You know, he
Maybe he's got a
never
trusty
sends you
carrier pigeon. Look, I think the answer is he has sent an email, he has sent a text message, he probably can write, he's just committed so much perjury.
Tax fraud, yeah.
His nose is probably half the size of Mick McCarthy's now.
Half the Mick McCarthy's nose is massive.
Yeah, a quarter.
Let's keep that in mind.
Alright, on Mick McCarthy's nose, that seems like a big enough point to end on this week. So I hope you've enjoyed
it's so
this episode of The Bench. It has been a good time as always. Please subscribe to our great channel. We will be out in a week's time. Thank you to my 2 trusty benches.
Thank you, it was a pleasure.
We'll see you next week. Take it easy. Shuffle those papers.